having a good day today. Today on this video, what we're going to do is we're going to, I've had a couple people ask. So they said, hey, on these big woods, wait talks, take two. On these big trees that we're harvesting and stuff, they said, well, let's see it get sawed up and go through the mill. And this didn't exactly go as I wanted it to, but we did get this big tree that I cut a few days ago, the big poplar push tree. Well, it's been a while back now on the editor. This big tree we cut. And then it goes to the mill, and then they're sawing it. And I happened to, one morning, Pooh was sawing it. It took forever. It took like 14 minutes to saw this thing down on a head saw. That's to saw it down means just take it down to an 18-inch square to where it can be dumped on the resaw and then saw it the rest of the way down. It's a lot of trips. So it's so big that our belt conveying system and stuff couldn't hardly take it. So I sat there and helped Pooh saw it for a little bit. And I thought, well, heck, I might as well turn on my daggone camera and get that on the camera. So we got that, and I finished up with some yakking around the grinder. I worked on the grinder for Stevie and got in a yacky mood, so I yacked about it. So hope y'all like it. Okay, so the other day we had I did this big old poplar tree and had Robin come push it. He was a real good shot and everything. Sometimes you have to phone in and push. That's about all I thought about it. Didn't really think about it after it left the woods. Well, one of the mornings that we're in there, I help them start the mill in the mornings. I'm a kind of a lube guy and help put the band on and stuff like that. And while I was there, before we come to the woods, I recognized this bud. And when I get a big butt like this poplar butt, I tend to recognize it. Wow.
Yeah, I probably ought to make 2 10s, then go straight 10s. I think 8's gonna be too short. I'm gonna quarter them anyway, so it don't matter. The length of them don't. I just make an 8 before because of length purposes. For quartering them, figured it'd make it a little easier. Or if they sawed them without quartering, which is a mistake on our equipment, it'd be easier on it. Yeah. 10s.
So here we're pulling it down with the grapple skidder down to where Stevie's going to be. Back here on the back end of this property. And it's steep and sandy getting up to it, so it's kind of, skidder kind of spins out a bit. But y'all's about to recognize this log on the carriage here in a minute when we go back to the mill. Okay, so this is a few days later. We're back at the mill. Sorry about the camera being showing a light glare there. I didn't have time to clean the phone off right because it's helping Pooh off bear this thing. But you recognize that little spot I missed in the center there on the butt. I don't remember what the butt diameter of this thing was, but it's pretty big. Thing about Pooh's, he's real smooth. Pooh's a smooth sawyer. And he's easy on equipment. He's doing enough. That's the thing. You get a guy that's done plenty of working, like Pooh has. He knows how to be soft with equipment. Broken equipment don't get you anywhere. So you got to be soft when you're working. And something like this, now it is a poplar, so it's a little bit lighter, but see how I use that log turner over there to ease it down instead of letting it just flop? That's the kind of touch that a good operator does to try to keep from tearing up equipment. It's hard to believe how many passes these logs like this take to get them sawed down. These big logs, they take a lot of passes. They slow us down out in the woods, but they slow them down in there at the mill too. We've been working on this roller. You'll see the boards falling off, weighing down, and that's a no-no. But we're getting ready to start tackling that situation. Every once in a while, they fall weighing up, but they need to all fall weighing up. And this is face number 3. Boy, that's a lot of trips, ain't it? Now, this poplar cut's pretty soft. I mean, and that's a good solid tree. That tree is not loaded up with mineral. A lot of times a poplar tree gets too old, it gets mineral in it, but this is just a good, healthy tree growing in a healthy spot. We're just happy. This was a happy tree growing. Now, the reason you don't want to saw a whole bunch of it with one side, and the reason he's flipping, he's going to flip it here in a second. But you want to box your heart's what they call it. You keep the, try to keep the heart of the tree kind of close to the center. There he is. He'll flip it next time with his turners. So the heart of the tree is right where I had that little spur sticking out of missed wood where I didn't get cut with a chainsaw. And he's going to try to keep that pretty centered. So you're gonna make a few trips here and then you'll give her another flip. And once he gets down to where he's not using that top saw, then it'll speed him up quite a bit too. But the top saw's got to match the bottom saw, so you kind of got to feed it easy when the top saw's still doing a bunch of the cutting. See a little strip up there on them boards where that top saw is making a mark? That's where the blades don't match up just perfect. I love his habits there. You see how he lays that over on that log turner? I love that. I love that habit. He is such a good operator. Now he took a little shim there to, we don't have a scanner, so you kind of take a little shimmer to get his depth set, you know, and then when he jogs out, it goes out an inch, which is 1 1/8 inches. It jogs, the carriage jogs out automatically 1 1/8 inches when he hits the button. But he cuts that little shim off to make sure, or, you know, cuts a little shim there to make sure everything's kosher there. As far as depth, you know, so you don't end up with a real thick outside board or a real thin one, either one. It only really comes into play on a log like this where you're sawing it way down. Well, let's go back here and see where the boards are coming out at. Oh no, not yet. We're doing some high speed. There we jump back here. There's Mikey helping him get through the double end trim. The boards are so wide it's hard for him to deal them in. And there's Kerry in the blue shirt. He come up from below. He's a grader, man. And there's Blevin standing there beside me. He's a good one. We're just kind of, everybody's waiting to get started or whatever. We're just kind of helping Pooh saw this big log down so we can get to work rocking and rolling. I didn't get him grading this thing. I just got busy and got my butt out of there, got to it. Man, this is great. I ain't done no vision today. Been a wild, busy day. Been a great day at the mill. What's going on here is them old yard scrapings and stuff down there where Werner's chipped their pulpwood from shutdown, from the big Corona 2020 Corona shutdown. We pushed up their log mess, we pushed up our log mess, and then here's what we're gonna make. Oh yeah, that wheel's still spinning. Hey, is that wheel spinning or are you happy to see me? Well, anyways, kind of long story short,
this grease hose messed up. Those of you with remote grease hoses on different doodads, this is a remote grease hose. There's a bearing down here, pillar block inside there where it spins on the shaft, and there's a hose comes out of that pillar block, and up here when you grease it up here, it's a remote greaser. Problem is the hose got down there, got caught in this sprocket, chewed it up, nobody knowed. Grease comes out on the ground, nobody knows. Next thing you know, friggin' bearing ends up dry as a daggone bone. So I'm down there pulling lumber today. Well, working on stuff and pulling lumber. I'm pulling lumber in between breakdowns. No, it ain't been too bad, I'm telling you. Our breakdowns, any more of our breakdowns around here, I'm not trying to be arrogant or being braggy. Man, I love our people, can't say it enough, but our breakdowns are getting way better. So anyways, I spent most of the day pulling lumber because I was like the Maytag repairman today. Till the seating, we come over here to grind up this stuff. Here's the product we're making. Now what we're gonna do with it, it's yard scrapings. Joni Baloney, let me tell you something about Big Mama. She is so particular. There's a mulch company called her today. She'll get mad at me for telling this, but there's a mulch company called her today. Want her to see if we can promise him 15,000 yards in 20. One thing I want to make clear is this pile, I'm bragging on how good her mulch is while I'm walking around. This pile is yard scrapings. It's going to be used out in the woods for to keep erosion down and to keep us from held up while we're logging. This is not what we're selling to the public. I know I'm going on bragging about how good her mulch is. Meanwhile, a pile of ugly messes right behind me. So I just wanted to clear that. I'm not talking about this stuff we're grinding right now. I'm talking about her colored mulch. 2021. They wanted to go out. Mama said, I don't know. We'll have to see. I don't know. That's a pretty big order. I don't want to say, yeah, commit to your order and then screw up everybody else's order next year, because next year's like their own 2020 year was. It'll be bat doppering crazy, is what I'm saying. So I mean, try not to cuss. Batshit crazy, I'm sorry. That's why I wouldn't have stuttered if I just said batshit crazy. But you know, trying to be politically correct and all that stuff is a good mess. But anyways, Big Mama's real particular about her mulch. So this old boy said, well, what do you know? He wanted to get the price talking stuff. And he said, well, you want to run a yard or something like that. Mama said, well, I think we sell it for. I had to mute this out. This is top secret company information. So I had to delete. I don't know if that's even public information. I'll bleep that out. But anyway, she told him yada yada yard. So he said, boy, it's awful expensive. She said, well, I tell you what, I got another mulch company down the road. She said, they're a good company. Mulch is not as good as ours, but it's plenty good enough. And most people, our mulch goes in hospitals and schools and then people that's real particular about their mulch and stuff like that. That's where our mulch goes. Our mulch is more expensive. We ain't hiding it. Our mulch is not cheap mulch. Our mulch is good mulch. That's what our mulch is. This old boy tells her, he goes, yeah, everybody thinks their mulch is good mulch. I said, did you laugh at him? He said, no, I didn't. I played along. I was like, okay, well, yeah. I said, you should have told you. His horse laughed him. Say, I don't think my mulch is good mulch. I know my mulch is good mulch. We use the best daggone colorant. Oh, let me get arrogant for about 2 minutes. Let me tell you something about our colorant. Becker Underwood colorant, best colorant in the business, period. Is it the cheapest colorant? Hell no. Is it the best colorant? Yeah. That's why we buy it, because we're here to make the best freaking mulch. Big Mama tells everybody, she said, there's mulch companies out there that drive nicer cars than we drive. They, they probably make more money at the end of the year than we make. She said they probably run a better business than what we run. She said, but I got one thing on them. I make the best mulch. That's my thing. I make the best mulch. That's my thing. And I'm here to tell you, Big Mama, I know she's family, and I know I'm biased. She makes the best mulch. That's what we make. The best mulch, period. It's funny how old boy's like, yeah, everybody says it makes money. I was like, oh my God, he has no freaking idea. And I know what you're thinking. I know the tire kickers are out there going, how do you make the best mulch? Dude, it starts on the stump. Our mulch starts on the stump. So you're getting your hardwood virgin log. Yeah, it looks like crap there. The virgin logs, you bust them open. turn into that. Now that's faded because it's been setting for a while. But we're running through our screen. Oh my God, you know how many nights I've lost sleep over screen size? Are you kidding me? So we got a blend we do. We got our screen sizes are real particular. We got blends we do to make it just right to where every load you get is that exact same thing. Now that's just piece size. Let me talk about colorant. Becker Underwood colorant is the best in the business. Becker Underwood does, they make colorant for the field and the Super Bowl. That's Becker Underwood, that's what they do. They do sports, stuff like that. Paint fancy stuff that you see on TV. That's Becker Underwood. That's what they do. They don't try to make cheap colorant. Their pigment's not cheap. They don't try to make cheap pigment. We pay a premium for the pigment. We buy bulk to try to save as much as we can, but we pay out the wazoo for our colorant. Now, why do we pay that kind of money for the colorant? Because the son of a buck is good. It's the best son of a bitch you can buy. You ain't gonna buy better colorant. I don't give a crap who you are. That's the best, period. Now, there's people who can buy colorant a lot cheaper than what we can buy colorant, and they probably run nicer machines, and they probably got a nicer car, and they probably live in a little nicer house, but don't care. Our job is to make the best mulch. That's what we do. So, it's just funny. This old boy has no idea he's talking to on the phone. I remember one night, Officer Hoover, shut your ears for a minute. Remember one day we worked, was it Elaine? I think it was Elaine. So Elaine calls Mama and she goes, oh my God, it's been crazy. She's went through a semi-load of brown a day. That's what Elaine's going through, selling to landscapers and Joe Blow off the street and everything like that. She's going through a semi-load of brown a day in the peak of season. Elaine calls, says, oh my God, you just brought me a semi-load this morning, but she said, I'm out. She said, can you give me one there in the morning? I got big customers wanting to come. Mom was like, oh yeah, we'll be there. Midnight, I was back up, got loaded, was on the road, crossing the bridge in Louisville. Tarp flies off because I'm half asleep. Hours of service, what's that? You know what I mean? I'm like, if DOT bear knew what I was doing, they would throw me under the jail. You know what I mean? Well, I was half asleep, didn't pay attention. Daggone tarp comes off. Crossing in there, Sherman-Minton Bridge, going in Louisville. The daggone tarp falls off. Wham! Hits the bridge about, at this point, it's about 1:32 o'clock in the morning. Wham! There's stuff flying everywhere. What is going on? I looked over and I seen out the passenger side. It's like, oh God, what happened? Tarp come undone, didn't know it, driving down the road, probably sleeping. And tarp come undone. So on the side of the road, 2:30 in the morning, sitting there on the side of the road in the shop, around, the Waters Expressway, sitting there on Waters Expressway trying to put this daggone tarp. Bought this tarp by myself on a 45-foot van, Sherlock tarp, trying to get it rolled over, get it mashed down, get it strapped down to where it'll ride. So anyways, long story short, about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm sitting there at their gate, sleeping in a day cab truck, and waiting on him, Bill, to open the gates up next morning. Everybody thinks their mulch is the best mulch. Are you kidding me? All right, I'm all cranked up. I told you that story so I can tell you this one. All right? I wanted to not forget. Now, they did not give me these bits. I bought full price for these bits. I'm telling you this because I love these son of a bucks. This here, is a mess because I done was that goofy and done blowed them up. I got the daggone pipe fitting down that bearing, down up in the inside, busted it off. Even with the bearing. I don't know where it is now. Where is it? Where is it, Mitter? Anyways, 1/8" pipe tab, you know what the grease fitting size is. Broke that son of a buck out of there. Could not get nothing in there. Go to Napa because I'm in love with these, like I'd marry him. That's how in love I am with this. But anyways, I'm in love with these daggone easy out sets. You know the long easy outs we've all used our whole life, the son of a bucking piece of crap, easy outs. But this here set from Napa and Ferdinand is where I got this. beautiful. There it is. Go to your local Napa store, and I'm telling you, these things are a lifesaver. The only reason I didn't have them because they're in Whitey up there on the job site, because I done used them the other day and they're stuck up there in Whitey. And here I am down here needing them like you can't imagine. I called up Rick. I said, Rick, you got them fancy pants easy outs in there? And he said, oh yeah, come and get them. I got the Napa. Rick's sitting there at the door with the easy outs. I walked inside without a Corona mask. Is that legal right now? Bailers, walk inside. Rick gives them to me. I come back. A couple minutes. I've been struggling with this son of a buck for hours. A couple minutes, pow, it's right out. So, I'm telling you, anybody doing your own mechanicing and stuff like that, anybody doing any mechanicing, that is important. I think especially if you're an idiot like me that breaks things. Them things, they're worth their weight in gold. I think I paid 80 bucks for these. 81. I think I paid 81 bucks for them. I'd have paid 181. That's how good they are. All right, have a good guys later on. What that does, you take that out in the woods and you throw that down in the woods when you're in a wet area. And these chipping crews, that's kind of like what they use on their, you know, they get the oversizes. It's kind of like oversizing a chipping crew. Except you get chunks of bark and wood and it takes them down to where it's a manageable product. But it's them big pieces, that's what gives you your flotation out in the woods. So you're kind of using humus to get the job done to where you can get flotation out in the woods in your yard and stuff. And then after you leave, that all rots down, you know, and it moistens the soil back up and stuff like that, and it helps the ground instead of hurting the ground, you know. That's the idea behind it. And we put it in walking floors and we walk it out, and you can get like 100 yards of the product out there at one time on a logging job. You just gotta make sure you're accessible with the walking floor. Now, I'm trying to get Big Mama talked into starting to make this stuff. In the wintertime, every once in a while, a logger calls us for some stuff like that, because we got walking floor trailers and I want to accommodate them, but we'll see how we get along. And it would be nice to run us up a big pile of this over here over her berm that we can load out and haul the loggers in the wintertime for dirt logging jobs. I do get a request for that from time to time, and it works great in a log yard.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit the buttons and leave me likes, comments, stuff. Let me know what's up. And to anybody's wanting logger weight gear, go to loggerweight.com and help yourself at the shop there, and we got all that good mess. Take care of it, and mostly just want to say thanks everybody. Hope everybody has a good one later on.